just by way of encouragement, I don't know what the percentage of incline is on this, but it's probably steeper than it looks. And I'm able to hike up this quite a ways. Yeah, I get winded, but I don't have to stop. Welcome back to our channel. I wanted to bring you up here part way up the mountain that we live on here in southeast Kentucky. This is one of the places that I like to come and just sit and be quiet and absorb the peace and the serenity of nature. Back there, I believe, are the Cumberland Mountains. Right now I'm on Pine Mountain. And I find a lot of healing out here, and you know, it's easy to overlook a lot of it, but even just in the pine needles, the pine tree, there's a lot of healing properties. Even just being out here, the fresh air, sunshine. The last couple days I came up here and it was very sunny. Today it's kind of hazy. Of course they were spraying chemtrails again this morning, but at any rate, God has always provided me places in nature that I could go and escape and be with Him. And I believe that He'll make that available. He has made that available to all of us. The purpose of this video, though, is I've had, here and there people ask me about my health journey. If you're not familiar with what was going on with me, I encourage you to go to our channel. It's under my name, Dana Gazelshin, and look up the video called Breaking the Mold, because I kind of share what had been going on and stuff. I really wasn't entirely sure that I was going to survive what was happening with me. One night, and I shared about this in the video, you hear a lot with the virus, and everybody knows what I'm talking about here in November 2020. I've had a lot of friends come down with that virus, and I have had friends die, and I believe unnecessarily because of that. But the thing that is making those individuals really sick is what's called cytokine storm, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube about that, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. But one night on my journey I got really, really sick. And if you look up the symptoms of cytokine storm, it's like a verbatim checklist of what I was experiencing. I had extreme chest pressure, and it was an effort just to pull in enough air to keep going. And the pain was intense. My head hurt, every muscle hurt. I couldn't breathe, I was short of breath, severe headache, nausea, I was throwing up. I had a temperature. But at any rate, the Lord blessed me with a husband who was willing to help me. He stayed up all night with me, and we did hot foot baths, we did essential oils, we did coffee enemas, and I survived. I was pretty sick for a couple weeks there, but as I said in that video, I had to deal with some things, and I'm not going to repeat everything. But I just wanted to, because a lot of people have asked me what I did, what kind of equipment I used, what kind of sauna I used, what kind of steam machine I used, what kind of machine I used to make my liposomal glutathione and liposomal vitamin C. So I'm gonna show that in this video, and I just really want to encourage you not to be afraid. I do believe we need to take this virus seriously, but don't be afraid. I mean, if God could bring me through the mold toxicity and the associated cytokine storm with that, and God used me back in 2012, bug, to help my mother survive Clostridium difficile, which, if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's often deadly. for those who have it. And my mother already has a blood condition where her immune system is not the greatest. So we have so many things in nature that God has given us that we can deal with things. Now, I do believe that allopathic medicine has its place. You know, if I'm in a car wreck and I break my leg and the bone is sticking out, I don't need a charcoal poultice, and I don't need vitamin C. I may need it, but I need that fixed, and that's where allopathic medicine really shines. So I'm not anti-allopathic medicine by any means, but I think we turn to that way too often, and I think that we can handle a lot more serious things than we have ever imagined just with the things God has provided us in nature. And one of the things that I'm learning to do now is to make my own medicine, my own tinctures and things, and I've noticed benefit already from these things. So I just want to encourage you, in these times that we live, we don't have much time left to learn what we need to learn to be able to take care of ourselves with these natural remedies. We don't know how much longer these things are even going to be available commercially. Do you know how to identify what you can use out in nature? You know, I'm learning more and more to spend time out in the woods just listening and looking and investigating and being curious and finding things and going home and looking them up. There may come a time that we don't have the internet to look these things up. You know, do you have books that you can use to learn from? You know, we may not always have the resources available to us that we do right now. And so now, today is the day, now is the time to educate yourself on how to take care of yourself and your family with just the simple things of nature. This right here, it looks kind of like a grub in there, but this is actually the beginnings of a lion's mane mushroom. I will note this area and I will be back. That's really good medicine. Lion's mane is one of the few wild edible medicinal plants that can regenerate nerve tissue. Okay, I just want to give a little run through of some of the equipment that I have used in my mold recovery. Several people have asked me about this, what equipment and what supplements I've used for that. This is not a comprehensive rundown of all the supplements that I've used because I had a lot of trial and error trying to do this myself, and so it would be a lot to cover everything, but I'll cover a lot of what I did. In the early stages, I used this. This is actually a jewelry cleaner, and I removed the basket. It usually comes with a basket to put your jewelry in. But what I use this for is to make the liposomal glutathione, and I get this from Amazon. Make sure it's reduced glutathione. It takes about a teaspoon of this to make one of these containers full. I think I'd use I have a recipe. I have a whole nother video. It's on the BRIGHTEON channel. I don't even know if I can say that word on YouTube. But at any rate, I have a video on how to make the liposomal glutathione and vitamin C as well. So you can go there for actual instructions, but this is the one that I use. And this machine actually wasn't all that expensive. I think it's around $50. I had a smaller one to begin with, and it's with my husband sometimes taking the liposomal products with me, it was much easier just to get a larger one so I didn't have to make it all the time. And then I have a sunflower lecithin. I contacted the company. This one is supposed to be completely chemical free. It's very difficult to find organic sunflower lecithin, and if you do, it's considerably more expensive, but it is worth it. So anyway, that's the machine that I use for that. And of course, you know, a blender. It doesn't have to be a super powerful blender, because you blend it, and again, watch the video on that. Blend it, and then you put it in here and let it run for a while. Just watch the video on that. For later on in my mold recovery, biotoxin illness recovery, I started doing these sinus treatments, and this is I really like this little machine. I bought this off Amazon as well. Very simple to use. It comes with this little, this little measuring cup, and you just put one of these of distilled water in the back here, avoiding the little holes. Don't get water in the little holes. That's where the steam comes out. And you just put water in there, and then you put the cap on. It's got little slots, you can see, that you line up, and you put that in place. And then you add another one of these little cups to the little container here, and you can see I've already got the water in there. And then you need, when you have mold toxicity, a lot of people develop what's called marcons, and I can't remember right off the top. It's a methicillin-resistant staphylococcus bacteria that develops in the sinuses of a lot of people who have mold toxicity. And I had all the symptoms of that. I did not actually get the test done, but I had all the symptoms, and that is something that is lingering, and I really don't like doing the sinus treatments, because I don't like standing in one place with steam blowing in my face, but I do try to discipline myself to do it, and because it is very beneficial. I do notice a benefit from it. I usually use both hands to screw that on. But anyway, as with any bacteria, whether it's in the body or in the sinuses or whatever, it develops what's called a biofilm, and that protects it from being destroyed by substances that we may take to destroy them. And so I put about 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of colloidal silver in here, and that helps to destroy the biofilm that the bacteria create. And then I use 1 drop, trust me, just 1 drop of thyme oil, and I use doTERRA. If you have a brand that you prefer, that, you know, it's not brand specific, this is the one that I prefer. But I use 1 drop of thyme oil, and then it's got this little hose on it that you have to pull out and make sure that it goes into this compartment, and you just slide it in there. It's got a notch. It's kind of hard to do with one hand and hold the camera, but at any rate, and then you just put it together, and it's got a little switch on the cord here. Takes it maybe 30 seconds to start putting out steam, maybe a minute, and then I stand there with a towel, just put a towel over my head to keep more of the steam in, and it takes about 6 to 7 minutes. And then right after I do that, let me show you the next thing that I do. Hold on just a second. The next thing that I do is I do 1 squirt in each side of my nose with this, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Xlear, I don't know, but anyway, it's xylitol, and xylitol will also destroy biofilm. And then this is a saltwater solution with, I think I put frankincense, oregano, clove, and one more. I can't remember what the other, but even just those 3 would be, thyme. And you can't put very much. I mixed a large container of it, and you have to make sure you have enough salt or it will burn like fire. And then once I put this in, then I sit with my head down between my knees, or kind of lay down on the bed and lean my head over the edge of the bed and let that stay, turning my head from side to side for about 2 minutes, and then grab some Kleenex because the stuff is going to start flowing. Okay, one of the next things that I found very beneficial was liquid magnesium, and I have been using this brand, ReMag. I do know that there's a different brand of this on Amazon that's a few dollars cheaper, and when I look at the ingredients on the one that's a few dollars cheaper, it's pretty pretty comparable to the ReMag, so I would have no problem using another brand as long as it's very comparable to this. This right here has really made a difference. If you are vitamin D3 deficient, which a lot of people are, and you're having trouble getting your vitamin D level up, it's probably because you're magnesium deficient. And if you'll raise your magnesium levels, a lot of times your vitamin D level will go up more quickly. Now, this is a liquid zinc, and I really like this because it's easy to tell if you are zinc deficient with this liquid. What you do is you put a teaspoon in your mouth, and if you have an immediate yucky taste, it's a metallic yucky taste, then you may have enough zinc in your body. If it's just kind of you can kind of taste the metallic, then you may be a little bit deficient. But if you put it in your mouth and it's almost just like water, you're very zinc deficient, and then you can just swallow it once you do that. And with the virus that's going around right now, you all know what I'm talking about. Zinc is very important. And along with the zinc, let me share with you this, and this was one of the things that I used a lot in my mold recovery. I'm sorry for the light shining on it, but at any rate, this is the quercetin that I have used. Quercetin is found in a lot of foods that are like orangey color. Chicken of the woods mushroom has a lot of quercetin. This is known as poor man's hydroxychloroquine, so just think about that. I use vitamin C in this form to just put in water. Now when I make my liposomal, go watch the video, I do not use this to make the liposomal vitamin C. I use, I like magnesium ascorbate. You can use calcium ascorbate, you can use sodium ascorbate, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I just prefer the magnesium ascorbate because most people are deficient in magnesium. Let me show you one other thing that I've been using outside, but before I do want to mention this. This is what I have left of the mold recovery kit that I ordered from Microbe Formulas, and that really kind of helped get me over the hump towards the end of my mold recovery. There are still some issues that I'm dealing with right now. Of course, my sinuses I'm still dealing with. Sometimes I still feel like I don't have enough oxygen in my arms and legs. If you watch the video on breaking the mold that I uploaded, you'll realize that I had an issue with parasites. I'm still working on that. I still am doing some heat treatments from time to time, and that's what I want to show you. So let's go outside and I'll show you what I've been using for that. Okay, this is my infrared sauna. We have it on the back porch. I like to breathe fresh air while I'm in there because it does get quite warm. I got it off of Amazon. This is the brand here. I could not afford the one that was low EMF, so I just had to do the best I could with it. The controls are fairly simple. It's got a little box here. I guess this is what produces the electricity. This thing folds up nice and compact, and if you unzip it, and it will roast you. It gets very hot. So when you open it up, it comes with a little fold-up chair, like a little lawn chair type thing that fits in there, and then it's got this foot pad, and that thing, you really need to have like a thin towel or something because that thing gets super hot. And it came with this little foot roller, which is very nice to roll your feet on while you're in there. And it really works well. And then it's got these little things so you can stick your arms out if you need to grab something or wipe sweat off your head or whatever. But I really like having it outside because I can breathe the fresh air while I'm out here, so it's out on our back porch. But I really like this thing. It works well, and when I was really sick, I was using this probably 4 or 5 days a week. And now I'm trying to, we got really busy for a few weeks and I kind of got off my protocol, but I'm going to try to do this at least once or maybe twice a week. Just a couple other things I wanted to mention quick was resources that I use to research mold toxicity. One was a book called Toxic by Dr. Neil Nathan, and I apologize I don't have that with me. It's in storage. We're living in a cabin right now, and so a lot of our things are in storage. And the other book that I purchased that was very helpful to me is this book by Dr. Jill Krista called Breaking the Mold. This one is more layman friendly. It's more user friendly. Dr. Neil Nathan's book, particularly the first part of it, is pretty user friendly, but he gives a lot of scientific research and everything on that. And then the other thing is that I am making the medicinal tinctures. I am not making a business out of it, but if anybody was interested, I would sell some of what I have. But at any rate, I certainly am not prescribing anything or professing to be a doctor. I'm just sharing with you what has worked for me. And so that's it for this video, and hope it's been a blessing to you. And if you have any questions on anything that I've covered, just leave me a comment in the comment section. I'll leave a link in the description below for the Breaking the Mold video. We'll see you next time.